everyone, and welcome back to Joy at Work. I'm so glad to be with you today. Thanks for joining me for a few minutes. I appreciate you all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy, and I hope you're safe. Today's August 18, 2023, and let's continue our conversation on virtues. 2 weeks ago, I introduced the concept of virtues, and I reminded us that, or maybe educated some of us, depending on your exposure to virtues, that virtues lie in between vices, excesses and deficiencies, and a virtue is the mean. It's the appropriate response to a situation, a feeling that exists outside of us. And then last week, I talked about the need to apply and exercise our virtues wisely, and the importance of phronesis, and how you could develop phronesis, how we can develop phronesis by reflecting on our actions, how we've behaved, by remaining curious in situations, and doing other things that help us become wiser and become better at acting virtuously. And I have to remind us that the reason why we care about acting virtuously, at least one of the reasons why I think is very, very important, is to experience joy and a fulfilled life as we go. So, as we go through these virtues and talk about them over the next couple of weeks, you might ask yourself the question, as we talk about some of them, why does this matter? Well, it matters if you're really thinking about how can I potentially live my best life. And that includes all the hours I spend in the workplace. So let's look at a virtue today, and let's start with courage. And courage is that virtue. It's the mean that sits between acting recklessly, which is like an over response to a fearful situation or a situation that you must step up and do something, and then being a coward, like not saying something when you're supposed to say something. And Maya Angelou offered that courage is like the most important virtue, because we need courage to actually act virtuously in general, to exhibit all the other virtues. So courage is really important. And I want to just point out that courage doesn't mean, when you do something, there might not be a backlash or negative consequences. We know that many people have stepped out and done things courageously, and they've been punished for it. But what courage allows us to do is, it allows us to face our fears. It allows us to advocate for others. It allows us to, speak truth to power and potentially inspire other people. And at a minimum, or maybe at a maximum, depending on who you are, it gives us a sense of fulfillment. Like when I've said something that needs to be said in the right way, when I notice somebody being oppressed and I raise my hand and say, like, that's not acceptable, even if there are consequences, negative consequences to me. Being able to do that is standing for what I believe. So it takes courage to get out there and tackle what faces us every day. We find ourselves in situations where we're weighing, should I speak up? Should I keep quiet? And quite often, we might keep quiet because we're concerned about the negative consequences. And I'm not here to tell people when to speak up or when not to speak up, but I just want us to know that courage is speaking up when it might not seem like the right time, when it might not seem safe, but it is the good thing to do. And so Aristotle was very big on the importance of courage in living a virtuous life, because he felt, and I agree with him, that without courage, it was very challenging to even advance society, because we just turn a blind eye to the wrongdoings that are happening around us. Once again, we need wisdom in when to speak up, even the timing and how to say what needs to be said. But the truth remains that courage is acting on what others might deem an inappropriate time. It's also acting in response to a fear that you have. How will people respond when I say this thing? So, courage is a virtue that we only develop by exercising it. So, I don't know what courage you need in your current place of work. Just wish you all the courage in the world. And hopefully, you'll see those moments where you can act courageously, and you will find the courage to be courageous. All right. Thanks for joining me this week. I'll see you next week as we talk about another virtue. Bye.